So today we are welcoming the lovely, and I just call people lovely because I just do. So today we are recording. Yes, we are. Right, let's move that so the pin's not over my face. The lovely Judith Rayner is going to talk with us today. So that is fabulous. Hello, Judith, and welcome to this interview series for the Sparkle and Thrive Summit. So, as of all the other interviews, usually I've got bits of paper, but today it's up on my screen because I didn't print it off because I only have one plug for my laptop and printer. So there you go. But this is the lovely Judith. Sorry, Judy, I just call people lovely, and I know it annoys some people.
Right.
But anyway,
no, it's fine.
So Judith is all about helping business owners find breathing space and sanity in the whirlwind of doing it all. We all know that feeling. After years of juggling and dealing with various challenges herself, she's created a unique blend of nature-based coaching, NLP magic, and game-changing breathwork to support women like us, which is fantastic. So I love the fact that Judith is inherently nosy. I always say my daughter's nosy, but I'm kind of trying to go with curious.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's embrace nosy. People interested, and has a podcast herself, which gave her the opportunity called Let's Walk Business, and gave her the opportunity to get under the skin of what makes women in business tick. And one of the themes so far in those I've interviewed, and we will be interested to see what goes through the next, is about walking and about nature and that sort of thing. So it's absolutely perfect.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah.
Good.
That's one of the things. Yes, it's funny. It's one of those. I'm sure by the end I'm going to be going out with videos going, there's these common themes. It's really fascinating. So we are at the summit. Judith is going to be giving us a talk on breathing into balance, the art of graceful business growth. And that's one of the things that really is underpinning the whole summit. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. So Judith, can you share a little bit about your business journey and what inspired you to focus on your area of expertise?
Okay, I'll try and keep it brief. It's not been a straight road. It's been a very wiggly road, a very up and down road. But I came into coaching about somewhere between 15 and 20 years ago. And then, and that was life coaching. Moved into business coaching when I discovered networking, and that there were all these women out there doing all these amazing things. I didn't even realize that this was a thing. And then I brought walking and nature into it about 9 years ago, before anyone really had kind of grasped the concept. Probably didn't make enough of it, to be honest, but anyway, so I kept it quite local. I did have an online thing called Let's Walk Business, which was based around audio. So I've got like a gazillion audios in my bucket, as it were. And then last year I started training in breath work. I realised I wanted to go deeper with clients. So I've been looking for about 2 years for something else to add into, to work with and alongside the coaching, the nature connection and facilitation, and breathwork just fits so well. And it can really take us beyond the kind of conscious thinking, cognitive, constant whir that goes on in our brains. So that's how I came to sort of be combining all of those things together.
That sounds amazing. I think that's so many of us have come to business in that way. And I think it's really cool to hear how that's also been a conscious decision, because I think sometimes it can be a little bit of a da-da-da-da-da. And then you can get to that point and it's like, oh, actually, is it shiny object syndrome, or do I want to add something else in? So it's, it's that whole thing, isn't it, of like, how can we, and I look forward to learning more, because I do keep seeing breathwork is one of those things that I think is becoming increasingly popular as a modality, isn't it? I think because I keep seeing it a bit more at the moment.
Yeah,
it's certainly,
it really is. And there's kind of, which is brilliant, and it's also a little bit not scary, but not everyone is trained equal. And there are things that you have to kind of know in order to be leading very deep breath work, so which is great. And the NHS are actually cottoning on to breath work, as well as one of their kind of options for people with stress and anxiety, but also with actual breathing problems. So yeah, it is becoming pretty huge and getting into mainstream. So yeah, exciting.
That is exciting. So, what advice would you? Oh, I've got my paper as always, people.
All right.
What advice? Because I'm never going to remember. Well, I might by the time I've done all of these interviews. You never know. What advice would you give to someone feeling overwhelmed by the demands of growing their business?
The obvious one. Actually, I'm not going to say go out for a walk or take a breath, because that's the kind of in the moment thing, but I really would say step back from it, step back from the coal face for a bit, to really take a good look at it and question, what do I actually want? Because there's so much noise, so many things that we can see, compare about, think we should be doing, but actually got to really come back and create some space to see what it is that is important to us. So I would say that is the very first step for me.
Sounds good. So, what tools, techniques, or habits have? And by the way, I had nothing to answer on that one because I just think it's. I was like, well, yeah, that's good. On to the next one. What tools, techniques, or habits have been most effective for you in managing your time and energy?
I'm not very good at habits, so I'll say that straight away. And I've tried loads of tools and techniques. I think there's not one thing that's worked. So the things that have worked for me are, depending on where I'm at, is writing stuff down, taking a bit of time out to actually plan. And I'm not talking about big plans. I'm just talking about on a Sunday night or a Monday morning before jumping in to doing, is actually planning first. And part of that planning is also planning in the time to take out, to go for a walk, to do the things that look after me, as well as look after what I'm doing. Because if I don't do that, I can't do the other thing. Habit wise, I'm not great at habits, but I say that I do meditate most mornings.
I was just going to say, so if I change it from habits to practices,
yeah, that does change it actually, because I kind of think, oh, I don't do habits, but then actually I do. Yeah. Definitely do habits. Practices, yeah, meditation I do most mornings with some breath work, and those two things are often combined anyway, with meditation practitioners and breathwork practitioners. And I try to walk at some point most days, even if it's a really short walk. I try to do something outside to get away from the laptop, get away from everything that is work related some point during the day. And I find the only way that happens is to actually schedule it in.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things. Well, there's two things that come to mind. One is that, and I get very fascinated by all of this, and it probably is my NLP training as well that kind of gets me fascinated by, because it's about the communication and the words, and we can get so caught. So like the word habit, it's very similar, right? That's why when you were saying I don't do habits, and I was going, no, but I know that you do certain things which they were a habit, but is it more the word? And that's why I said practices. And it is that thing we can get. It's like the idea of balance. Some people, I've seen so many discussions about, well, you can't have balance because balance is 50-50, but balance isn't 50-50. That's one of the things that we can have that conversation about, isn't it? It's like, okay, it's a word, and each word will have a meaning in your brain. Because how we change that meaning potentially, or we look at how we adapt it to us, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's really interesting what you say about balance, because it was all that, you don't see it so much now, but about life balance. And it's kind of, but if you have a wheel, there's always areas of your life that need more focus at different times and things like that. It can't all be equal. That's not what it's about. So it is an interesting one, definitely. So when you start talking balance.
I'm just making a note because it's just got me getting my brain thinking. I always think it is about the flow. It's about the flow of life, how you're creating that flow in different areas. And that to me is the balance, but it's back to the words.
Yeah.
So how do you decide what to say no to or where to focus your efforts? This is going to be my favorite question, and I'm saying this in every interview.
Okay. Right. So you mentioned earlier on shiny object. I've been terrible at that. I have got massive magpie eyes. But what I've learned to do, and it's not perfect yet, I have to say, is to, each time I'm tempted to do something, is to again create some space and a pause to kind of go, okay, yeah, oh yeah, that's really exciting. Oh, it's really, that looks great. That looks great. And I love learning. So I'm kind of like, oh yeah. But it's that, okay, how does it fit? Does it fit with what I'm doing right now? Does it fit with what I'm doing in the next few months? Because I'm not somebody that kind of plans 5 years ahead. Does it fit in my plan for this next short period of time-ish? Have I already got that? Have I already answered that thing in some other way? Does it kind of, can I see myself there? Or like say it's an event or something like that. Like I jumped at this chance, but there's other ones where I've gone, ooh, that's not me. And it's really, I think, knowing yourself, getting to know yourself, as well as the kind of practical side of does it fit? It's like, does it fit me? Do I actually want to put myself in that place? And that's a really hard one sometimes, because it's like, am I saying no because of fear? Not wanting to get out of my comfort zone, or is it a genuine no, thank you? So it depends whether it's kind of like a jumping into learning something, a jumping into an opportunity to be seen, an opportunity to go to an event, all sorts of things. Because some events I just would not go to, because I now know from having pushed myself to go to them that they are not fun for me. I don't enjoy them. I get barely anything from them. In fact, they do the exact opposite for me, whereas others I love. So it's really trusting yourself. So I know I've said an awful lot in that.
No, I mean, an absolute. I think that's really useful, and that's why I've asked that question, because I think that's going to sort of prompt those sort of responses. So, what one small I can never read this question. What's one small but powerful step someone can take today to start building a more sustainable business?
I've probably said it already. Probably. I imagine. I think sustainable has to fit with your life. It's the only way. Everything that you see online that other people are doing, you don't know their life. You don't know what's going on in their life. Everyone, this phrase about everyone has the same 24 hours. No, we don't. We absolutely do not have the same 24 hours. We have 24 hours. We don't have the same 24 hours. So again, it's that kind of getting to know yourself, what you want, how that fits, what it actually gives you. So the old NLP thing, like what is the outcome, the kind of actual outcome, when you keep asking, yeah, but why, you come down to the nitty gritty. And I really think it's so important to try to stop just jumping on things because that's what other people do, because it's so overwhelming. And I think to have something sustainable, it has to fit your life. It has to fit your life. And you've got to create space. You've got to trust yourself. That you can create what it is that you want in your way. So you don't have to follow the rules. You don't have to do all the shoulds. You don't have to do what other people are doing. You can do it your way. A bit like you've done with this summit. You've gone, you asked all the questions. You came out with some great questions to find out what people love and hate about summits, and you're trying to create one that's different. I think that's what's so important. It's like following your own path, not following other people's. Take a step back and stop. If you're feeling overwhelmed, stop for a little while, even if it's just to go for a walk and just think, what is it that I want to do? How is this serving me?
Yeah, and that's something that's definitely very close to my heart in what I do. And I think the thing is, especially when we are givers and we want to create a business that makes a difference, that can be the driver. Whereas actually, if you do take that step back and start with what do I want out of my life, how is this going to work for me, then that brings that sustainability, which then brings the being able to make the difference, which is why having this summit and having those different elements that everybody can tap into, not all at once. Again, this isn't, you know, this is designed to be something that you can come back to and get those nudges on. That will help it be more sustainable rather than trying to be there and do everything. But a lot of the talks come back to making sure it is about you as well as making the difference and the tools and the practicalities, and it's bringing it all together. And I think that is powerful. So I love it. Love it.
I mean, I saw, I think, and also it depends what stage of business you're at as well. You know, if you're really young and you're just starting out, you might have more energy. You may or may not have the ties, but you might have an amazing support system around you, or you might not have any family around you. So your time is very different. Or you might be a bit older, you might be sandwich generation like me, where you've got older parents and still got like teenager. Where you've got like pulls on your time and your energy. You have to be really realistic. And when you see other people going, you say, oh yeah, I could do that, I could do this, I could do that. But yeah, does it fit? Would you really relish it? Do you have the time, space, energy and love for it? You know, and if not, it's like, let them do that. Let them do that. You know, I'm going to do it this way, kind of thing. So yeah.
Brilliant. And that is a brilliant note to end it on. So thank you, Judith. We will look forward to getting to know you more and your wonderful talk at the summit. And please, if you are watching this and you've got through to the end, join the summit and or put your key takeaways from today's discussion in the comments below. So have a lovely day, everyone, and bye.
Brilliant. Thank you.